Hey everybody, Sharp here. Today I just wanted to quickly touch on the, the words winning a lane and how it's a very broad term, and I think more often than not it's misunderstood, okay? So we're gonna talk about winning a lane or a winning lane, or winning lane matchup and good matchup. So these terms are being used to describe each other. They're kind of saying the same thing, but at the same time not. So we're gonna go over a few examples here. So what prompted me to make this video is, I think I saw a comment, someone saying that a matchup can be winning even though you're scaling or something. I think it was LS that said it. And while this is true, winning doesn't always mean like the traditional sense, okay? So I'm gonna bring up a few examples here. The first one is Corki versus Syndra. I think it was like last year around like August. Corki was meta and Syndra was meta. Now, traditionally Syndra gets prio in like every matchup. But people were still, and she does it against Corki and she beats Corki early. But people were still picking Corki into Syndra, okay? Especially on stage. Now, and people would say this is a good matchup, right? Because you could survive early, then first back Hexdrinker, and then Syndra can never kill you. Now, people picked this matchup on purpose, right? Because they knew that, okay, if I get the Hexdrinker, then I can just out, and then I will never die, and then, especially if the enemy has like a Sejuani or like an AP jungler, and then I will just outscale eventually. Like, I don't know exactly when you outscale, like two items or something. But so this was considered counter or a good matchup, right? Even though you don't win it, like at any point in the lane phase, you just survive it, and maybe you win a text drink, I don't know, but at least for like the first 6-7 levels, you get pushed in and you lose all ins, right? Now another example is Gangplank. Now there's a lot of matchups where Gangplank he will get prio, gets prio, pokes, but maybe he loses 2v2s or loses all ins or something. I don't have a specific example here because I'm not too well versed in top lane matchups. But let's say he's playing against, like, I don't know, fucking Aatrox. He will poke him down and he will get prio, but he will probably lose all ins. I think that's just an example, right? I don't take this too literally, but GP, he can push a lot of matchups, poke them out, but he will probably lose all ins or lose 2v2s early, right? Because it's Gangplank. But people will still pick it even though you lose all ins. So my point here is that you can have a good matchup, but that doesn't mean you just win everything and do everything better than a champion, right? So I think the vocabulary around this needs to be more nuanced. So I will get back to, I'll write it down. I want to write this correctly, but vocabulary needs to be more new. So another example is Veigar, right? Veigar versus Azir or something. I'm just some of these are examples from the LS tweet. So Veigar versus Azir. People would pick Veigar into Azir a lot, but Azir wins all ends early, and he gets prio. But people will still pick Veigar into it. Why? Because Veigar, he potentially outscales. You can say that. Like, Azir definitely kills frontline faster, but Veigar scales infinitely, right? And he fucks him in teamfights. So the E, right? That's what everyone talks about. Azir can't escape the E at all and Azir flashes, right? So it's still a counter, but Azir wins all ins and 2v2s early, and he gets prio. So we get to my point here that, I mean, this is just an idea, right? But the vocabulary needs to be more nuanced so it's easier for people to understand. Or you just have to explain, right? So I can say, I like this matchup because if I don't all in, I just poke, I can get prio, skank, plank, but I don't want to fight 2v2s. I just want cover or something. Or I like this match. This is a good matchup where I win this matchup at this and this point. So you would need other words, right? If you think it's a good matchup because you outscale X item, you need a word to say that. Or you don't win all-ins, but you get prio and you win poke, so you need a word for that. So shit like this. It's just an idea, and I'm just shooting the shit here. But I think when people say like, "Oh, I win this matchup," it doesn't always mean that they just win it straight up. Or when people say this is a good matchup, it doesn't mean that they will get prio and whatever. You have to like play around, like how and when the matchup is good, right? So yeah, I mean, sorry if this video was a bit of a mess. I just want to get my thoughts out there while they were still fresh. All right, peace.